Okay, the bills, I'll give you some of the unusuals. As we go down, City of Evanston Water Department, that's Elks Drinking Fountain. Evanston Lumber is lumber and obviously lumber and other parts to build ramp for the ice skating rink and some repairs elsewhere. Illinois Public Risk Fund is our annual workers' comp. Little Tykes Play Power is some minor parts for the Brummel Play Circuit. It's actually a ring, sliding ring. Little Tykes, I just said that. Park Creation is 4 baby swings, infant swings for the swing sets throughout the Park District. We're out of them. Ridgeville Foundation is a reimbursement for the Shakespeare income we took in for VIP seating. Russo Power Equipment is mostly salt for the sidewalks and the driveway, and Working Gear is it's Marcos and Rubens winter gear.
I move to accept the monthly bill report summary dated September 13, 2018 for the amount of $25,863.84.
Just before I say, what is Great America?
That's the phone. That's the phone. Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Petty cash. Petty cash. Tasha Alston is a performance contract for African dance class. She's a guest performance. Amazon.com is 2 AED batteries and AED pads for adults and children, and 6 CDs for our karaoke class.
I move to accept the monthly report of petty cash dated December 12, 2018 for the amount of $1,054.77.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Brian, you have another report?
Sure. In today's board meeting, obviously this went out earlier, we're going to pass the levy ordinance for 2018, 2019. I'll also need to pass our annual calendar. Copies of both are in your packages. Lighter Park planning is moving forward. We had a public information meeting on November 28th at Little Beans Cafe. While attendance was very low, good progress was made. I have renderings here for you to see. And, cost projections. It's going to be a little more expensive, I'll tell you that when we get to Lighter Park on the agenda. To save 3 to 5%, we need to order the equipment before January 1st, because the 2019 prices are going to be 3 to 5% higher. And there's a 12-week delivery, so if we wait to January, you're looking at April. If we wait to February, you're looking at May, just for delivery. ComEd has forwarded updated documents. Charles will have a update for you. It's continued to change, and it changed again today. It's on the agenda, obviously. The audit will be presented by Canooding Association. Kate is here. Results of the audit were, as far as I could see, and Jerry could tell me, were very favorable. The Garage Art Studio is coming along slowly but surely. You know, Ruben's on vacation, so we go back at it in January. The material for the drop ceiling has been purchased. We look forward to completing it by the end of January. The ice rink boards are up, and we will install the liner and water hopefully next week, but everything looks like it's going to be in the 40s. We'd like to get it all set up before Christmas holidays and hopefully get some cold weather because the low 30s at night not cutting it. And I follow the city's progress too. They're in the same spot we're at. No liners, no water.
That's a good and a bad problem, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, Natalie, you're up next.
This month, Ridgeville Park District reflects on a full year of cultural celebrations. In 2018, we showed our gratitude for our vibrant and diverse community by spotlighting the following Evanstonians on our celebration board. Yvonne Vandenaven, Willie L. May, Carol Mosley Braun, Shalom Klein, Natasha Sharma, Melissa Scaludi, Edward Henry O'Hare, Maggie Blinn Shinobi, Araceli Chola, and Tariq L. In 2019, Ridgeville Park District will celebrate cultural diversity in our community one vote at a time with our new program, Ridgeville Readers Book Club. Book selections correlate with our monthly cultural celebration. The group will meet on the last Sunday of the month to drink hot chocolate and take part in a lively literary discussion. Participation in this program is free and open to the community. I encourage you all to join us. I am putting this in the brochure. I've made suggested reads for each of the months that correlate with our celebrations. I'm not going to read through this, but you can take a peek if you'd like. But that's a new thing coming at you in 2019. Yeah, I'm excited about it. Fall 2 wrap up. Our Studio 908 Fall 2 class session comes to an end on December 22nd. In total, we ran a combined 24 weekly classes for youth and adults. We now take an extended break and return the week of January 20th for our winter class session. Per request, here's a comparison of the 2017 versus 2018 Fall 1 and Fall 2 revenues. I will say these numbers do not include the half-day workshops. I did not include those in here. But in 2017 at this time, with registration, class registration plus sampler card revenue, we were at $9,967. And today, with revenue from Fall 1, Fall 2, and sampler cards, we're at $13,866. I still have drop-ins from this week and for next week. We have a workshop that's running, so I anticipate another 150 to 250 before the end of the session. In 2019 spring summer brochure, working hard on that. Our sign-off date is on Monday, so the brochure will be out the first or second week of January. I pushed it back because I did a combined fall-winter in the fall, so this will be a true spring-summer brochure with all of our summer camps listed. Most of our classes will remain the same. We can look forward to the following additions: multi-level yoga, fearless improv, writing circle, which is returning, and then family art at the park. Additionally, we are offering a few new monthly series for adults and families that include the Ridgeville Readers Book Club, TGIF Party at the Park. It's going to be super fun. We've got a game night, an improv night, a karaoke night, puzzle night, family dance, all kinds of cool things on the last Friday of the month. So, hoping folks will come for that. We're adding a Saturday special needs. I did not type that correctly. Saturday special needs social dance. We had done a couple of those over the summer with UTA and the High Dukes. They had some grant money, and we kind of helped them out with space because they're on our payroll. And it went really well. They had a great turnout for that, so we're going to continue that through the winter and offer those once a month and see how that goes. As for summer camp, we're offering an August bridge camp from July 29th to August 9th. So that's new. We're also offering 11 mini camps this year, which will feature partnership opportunities with the Imaginary Game, Playwell Technologies, and Sticky Fingers Cooking. Great.
If I can say,
Yeah.
on a couple areas. Your Ridgeville Readers Book Club, it's phenomenal.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good on you.
Celebrate with us. It's full advanced notice, and it includes a lot of different levels of
Spot on, thanks. And if I'm reading right, your detailed report really on the comparing the last year to this year's really helps us, I think. to know how well he's done. And I know it's not just you don't work in a vacuum, but if I'm reading it right, we've looked at just the last half a year, about 2,500 increase in revenue or fees for this. And I just want to say thank you for doing that. That really reflects on your professionalism and your gift, so thanks.
Thank you.
What is the Bridge Camp?
So we traditionally offer 2 sessions of camp. We do 4 weeks in June and 4 weeks in July. Since I've been here the past couple of years, I've had parents ask me about extending our camps into August because there's quite a bit of time before the kids go back to school.
So it isn't a bridge between our 2 camp sessions, it's afterwards.
Yes, it's a bridge between summer camp and school year.
I got it.
So we're gonna try it and see how it goes. We're gonna do 2 weeks here at this building. It'll be for kids from 5 to 12, and we're gonna structure it the exact same way that we do all of our other summer camp sessions. It'll just be half a
And
session.
it'll be here, it won't be at the,
It will be here. We're gonna run other camps over at Cayman, but since we're not doing the 3 and 4 year olds
Cardboard.
for bridge camp, what?
He looked at me and said cardboard.
Oh yeah, cardboard, and then we have some other stuff going on too. Sticky Fingers is gonna be there.
that's other stuff, that's over there.
Yes,
This, here, the Bridge Camp.
this is a Ridgeville camp.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
All right. Jerry?
I'd like to ask that before I give my report, if we could jump ahead on the agenda to let Kate present the audit so that she can
Oh,
get
sure.
out of here and get on her ride home because she's got a ways to go. And it's not fun out there tonight driving. Thank you.
Yeah, well, at least it's not snow night, so it could be worse.
Kate Holtman from Community Associates.
Hi, everyone. I'm the lead auditor for the audit this year. We looked at the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2018. And as usual, with our audit opinion, we had an unmodified, unqualified opinion, which is basically the highest level that we can give out, saying that the financial statements are fairly stated in all material respects. We had no significant deficiencies or material weaknesses noted. During the course of the audit, we look at the balance sheet as of June 30th. We look at the revenues and expenses for the period of July 1 to June 30th, 2018. And we also look at the systems, look at how the transactions are being processed, and to see if there's any issues in the way the transactions are being handled when they come into the financial statements. We didn't have any issues or noticed anything. The books were really clean. And so for this year, there was a pretty substantial increase in the fund balance of the Park District. It's higher than it's been in previous years. And one of the reasons for that is that during the year we received grant monies, but the expenditures for the capital projects hadn't been made. Those will be made in fiscal year into 2019. So that was really the only thing that we saw that was a little bit different, was getting that money in and having that timing difference between the fiscal years, between when the money was received and when the project will be taking place. We have a healthy cash balance. There's at least almost 3 months of monthly expenditures in the cash balance, which is a very healthy position to have, especially given that there's no debt on the books. We didn't have any deficit fund balances. We didn't have any funds that had expenditures in excess of the budgets and appropriations. So not much out of the ordinary for this year. Any questions or anything that you want to go over?
Just, you've been with us for a while, right? Helping us
Yes.
maybe more than 10 years. I don't know how long.
I'm not positive how
It's
long.
quite a while.
Yes.
And we've had Jerry helping us, and I feel like as a commissioner, he's helped educate me in very concrete ways of how the budget works and how the funds work. And he's brought in a lot of new, I think, 21st century operational funding documentation. Do you find that helpful when you go through an audit? Do you find his role and the way he's organized things to fit with what you need?
Sure. Jerry definitely brought a lot of the accounting procedures and that kind of thing, a little bit more up to speed. And he goes through things very meticulously, and he not only does the transactions, but seems to understand how the numbers all fit together and why this one account did this or that account did the other. So, yeah, I mean, it's great to have staff that's knowledgeable and can provide insight when we have questions, so.
Good. Thank you.
I would say this year, every year, I kind of describe it as Kate goes through her process to arrive at the answer one way, and I've been all year long going through the process my way, and the thing is, at the end, her numbers have to match my numbers, and that's when we're done with the audit process. And usually we kind of get to that point, and we go through a little back and forth over some discrepancies here and there. This was a first in my time as treasurer, where her first draft of the audit, I agreed with to the penny on everything we did.
What's fantastic.
That's a wonderful thing.
I was so
Thank
excited
you so
to
much
get
work,
that.
and thank you so much work.
Yeah.
Great.
That's great. Well, thank you very much.
No problem.
Guys, should make a motion to accept the audit.
Make a motion to accept the 2017-2018 audit.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, safe travels.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, you too. Jerry, you're up now.
Sure. The notable activities include, not just the presentation of the audit, but annually we have to prepare a report of receipts and disbursements. You have a copy of that in your packet. That's been produced, it's been handed off to Charlie. He will take care of getting that filed with the appropriate county agency, and we'll have that state obligation done for this year. In terms of the monthly reports, I included the usual appropriations ledger, statement of revenue and appropriations, balance sheet, and outstanding items. On the appropriations ledger, you have it in two formats, a summary format and a detail format on opposite sides of the page. I revised the summary format. The annual report on pages 34 and 35 presents a summary of line items of the appropriations ledger that's more detailed than the summary I've been giving you, but not as detailed as the detailed version, so it's somewhere in the middle. So I revised this to kind of be a blend of the old summary I was given and the audit one to make for a more easy comparison to the audit. But I also kept the higher level of summary as well, because I thought that had some value to see the functional totals in those categories.
Excuse me, dear, where
Yeah.
are you now? Where are you now?
I'm on
Can
the
I get-
appropriations ledger.
Okay,
summary
appropriations.
format.
Okay, appropriations ledger, okay.
Okay.
And what I am gonna ask you to give some thought to going forward a little bit. At a later date, I'm kind of toying with coming forward when we get into the budget process for next year with proposing a simplification of our chart of accounts a little bit. And it would be closer in line to this summary form of the appropriations ledger rather than the fully detailed one that we got on the backside. So for your purposes of oversight and everything, kind of give thought to, do you have any issues or thoughts about that? I'm not going to ask for comment tonight, but this is kind of the level of detail I think that might be more appropriate for us going forward. Overall, appropriations look good. We're within 1% of the year-to-date budget at this point in time. So we're in pretty good shape. We're entering the second half of our fiscal year. We've got
So
one
you
more.
just divide that up by month and just,
Yeah, exactly. The upper right-hand corner of the appropriations ledger item format has a year-to-date percentage, 38%. That's just determined by how many months into the year are we, plus adding another half a month. Because some of our appropriations as of November 30th are a full month's worth and some things are only a half month's worth. For example, your corporate bills report is only through the date of the board meeting. But things like payroll expenses are for the entire month. So there's no way to get a really precise number, but 5.5 months is about as close as we can get. And then when you look at our expenses as a utilization of the budget, it's coming out to about that number within 1%. That's kind of what I'm looking to see. Kind of assumes we're spending money evenly through the year, which isn't always correct. We're a little slower this time of year than we are in the summer months, for example. But it's as good as we can reasonably get without a lot more effort and work. Moving on to the statement of revenue and appropriations. Still don't have any budget information there because the levy ordinance has not yet been passed. That will happen tonight, hopefully. But we can at least see what have we brought in as far as revenue so far this year, as opposed to what have we appropriated so far, and look at a cash flow picture of what we've done. So bottom left corner on that, where it says revenue over appropriations, we've got a positive cash flow of about $58,000. That's down from about $103,000 as of last month, and I think it was like $130,000 the month before that. So you can see this time of year when we're not getting any tax revenue and no significant program revenue coming in, we're slowly, reducing the amount of excess revenue. We'll probably flip into a deficit position in the next couple months before big tax revenues start to come in again, which means we're living off of our cash balances and reserves. We would have already flipped into a negative position had we not received the $60-some thousand request a couple months ago. So just kind of a cash flow picture of things. The backside of that has the balance sheet. I don't have any particular comments on the balance sheet other than to say there it is. If you have questions, I think we'll talk about it. And the last report I've got is the outstanding items report. Almost everything on there is relatively current within the current reporting period, and mostly will kind of self-correct. There's tiny issues that will self-correct by the next month's report. The handful of items that are on there, Jessica is on top of. She's doing an excellent job of addressing these problematic transactions as they come up. And I have no motions for any issues to correct or resolve this month.
Gary, if I'm reading this right on your outstanding unresolved items, and this is kind of like a shout-out entry. It looks like, if I'm reading it right, the most outstanding is from July.
And the July really dates back to February. That's
But
yeah.
this is a lot of that.
It's a lot better. And actually, that one would be resolved already if the party to whom we've already reissued a check would deposit their check. So even that one is stale, but we're on top of it and know what it's all about, and we're trying to get it resolved. It's much better than we've seen in a long time.
Okay.
That's all I got.
All right, great, thank you.
Of course, I was looking at the one from November, and not the updated one. So I'm going, wait a minute, all right.
Nothing's making sense to me.
I got it.
All right, so. Thank you, Jerry. I guess we don't really have anything from Jessica at this point. As far as strategic planning and goals, old business, Brian sent around an executive review form that we had agreed to go over and fill out for his review for next month. So each of you should be filling that out through this month. I'm going to sit down with Brian and talk through it with him. But if you could have that about a week before the meeting, and we can coagulate all the material and
And
go
when you
from
say a
there.
week before the meeting, do you want those into you or just ready for the meeting?
Well, I don't know how it works with sharing of information.
Yeah.
I mean, should it go back to the office?
Well, it will be executive session, kind
Yeah.
of confidential information, just to be clear, right?
I'm just saying if you wanted to, I didn't know if you wanted to look over stuff.
I'm sorry, I missed something.
Well, just the
So we-
evaluation of the executive director, as we fill out our forms this month, and
Yeah.
before we actually go into executive session in January to evaluate our executive, how do we get our evaluation forms to the president without violating open meetings law?
Bring them to me in a sealed envelope, I'll drop them.
Yeah, I think that'll work. We're going to seal the envelope.
Okay,
Brian will distribute it to her.
Bring them to
Okay.
anybody in the office.
Okay, if you could do that by the Friday before the
Good.
following meeting.
Then I'll drop them off with you.
Okay, good. All right, that's all I got on that. The ComEd switchgear, do you want to go over that?
I do. Excuse me. So we marked up the grant of easement that ComEd had prepared and sent it back to them. Putting in, the key thing here is the indemnification language that we wanted. So we put that in, and they came back to us and they said that they wanted to limit the indemnification. The first limitation they did was they limited the indemnification, so they were only indemnifying the Park District for bodily injury, death, or property damage arising from the exercise of from their exercise of the easement, which was a problem because we wanted to include nuisance claims in that. The other thing is they said that they wouldn't indemnify for any matters caused by the Park District's negligence or willful misconduct. And they wouldn't indemnify for any damages, I'm going to read this out, damages for any failure to provide service or for interruption of one or more phases or reversal of such service or interruptions in electrical service. So I had a conversation with the attorney for Commonwealth Edison, and I said, what's going on here? And she said, well, nuisance, yeah, well, I'm sorry, we'll put that back in. Their concern was that they didn't want something to happen to the electrical service to the Park District, and then the Park District could make a claim based on that. They wanted it to be governed by state law in their tariff card as to what the limits were on claims by the Park District. And I said, you're right, it's to the extent that they're talking as a customer, they shouldn't have any claim beyond what they already have on the law. The issue here is what would happen in a third-party claim. And they said they would look at that and think about that, and I suggested that it seems to me if Mrs. Simpson down the street lost electrical service and sued the Park District for whatever reason, based on electrical service, that they should indemnify over that. They said they would look at that and get back to me. So they got back to me around 4 o'clock today. And they said that they wouldn't indemnify for those claims based on loss of electrical service. And they also said they would no longer indemnify based on nuisance. I didn't really understand that. I think there may be some confusion on that, so I'm going to go back and talk to them about that. But they were definite about the electrical service. So that presents the question, what happens? Some reason, something to do with the switchgear box doesn't work, somebody loses electricity, and for some reason they decide to sue the Park District. It's not likely. I don't know why they would be able to recover against the Park District.
Why would anybody sue the Park District? We don't provide the electric. I mean,
Yeah, but if somehow,
Got struck by lightning?
yes, people do crazy things, and they'll say that the switchgear box is on Park District property, Commonwealth Edison, I'm gonna sue you. I can't sue you because this tariff card that you own, there's only limited damages you can get against the electric company. But the Park District has this box on their property, so I'm gonna sue them. I can't imagine how they can win that lawsuit.
but it could happen.
But it could happen. And you'd have to get involved in a lawsuit, and you'd probably get out fairly quickly. But it
costs money.
It could still cost some money.
What
But
about
is
if we
it-
just-
Is it likely? I don't think it's likely at all.
But the nuisance bit might be likely.
Yes, but I'm not convinced that I understand their position 100%, because they said yes, and then they said no. So I think the no might have been tied to the electrical issue for some reason. So I want to go back to them and find out about that.
What if we went back to them and said, we're okay with the electrical issue, but not the nuisance? We want the
Yeah,
nuisance
that's
in
what
there.
I want to find out, what they're saying on that. Because I'm not convinced, when they got back to me the last time, that they understood what we were talking about. I think they were tying it into electricity service. So I mean, that's what the issue really comes down to. And they said, basically, they said, you know, if you don't want to do that, that's okay, we're going to go with the overhead lines then. That was their position, you know?
Yeah.
They'll do what they want to do, I don't see why they wouldn't indemnify you, it doesn't make any sense to me, but, you know, I'm not dealing with the president of the company, I'm dealing with somebody in the office who went and talked to her boss and explained it however she explained it, and he said, no, we're not changing that. Just take it or leave it. So, that's where we stand. I don't think there's a great risk with regard to somebody suing because they lost electrical service, but it's possible.
Do you feel comfortable going back and having that conversation?
About nuisance?
About the nuisance?
Yeah, I do want to do that. I want, you know, if it wasn't 4 o'clock today, I would have done that already, but I just didn't have the opportunity to.
And my understanding is that we've got time, it's not something that has to happen before Christmas.
Well, they want to move forward with it, I think. I think, you know, the sooner we hash it out with them, I think the better.
Yeah. Well, I'll go back to them tomorrow or Monday if I don't get it tomorrow and find out what the story is on that. I mean, I've already sent her a couple of emails saying I'm a little confused by this. And I'd like to discuss it with her, but I haven't been able to talk to her today.
So it's not a dead deal,
No.
and I think they want to start construction one way or the other in April.
Right.
Did you say April?
April.
Okay. So if they want to do it in April, then I don't know that it really matters.
Well, that's what, if that's the underground.
Yeah.
And they told me today, if it doesn't work out, it wasn't a threat, we're going overhead, it's our only choice.
Yeah.
Right, but I don't know, are they going to do that in January or are they going to wait till April?
I don't think they do that in January.
Yeah, so I don't know that it really matters.
Yeah.
I mean, it matters, but I don't know that there's a timing thing to get this done. I think they'd like to plan, but
Yeah.
As a commissioner, I feel comfortable with, if they come back and say, yeah, you're right, the nuisance will cover that, it's a good deal for the park district and the community, but if they say no, it's not good.
well, then you need to evaluate what the risk is of a nuisance lawsuit.
Right.
And, you know, what's going to happen then. I don't know that there's a real likelihood of a lawsuit.
Although we have one neighbor that's not happy about it.
Yeah, but is he going to pay a lawyer to file a lawsuit over it?
I don't know.
He would sue because he would say it's blocking my vision or it's lowering my property value.
Yeah. Maybe go back to them and see what they say about this nuisance
Yeah.
thing, and they're holding a real hard line, then come back to us
Yeah.
and see what, you know, we could have that discussion after that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Then that's what I'll do. If for some reason there's a time pressure that they want an answer, I mean,
Yeah,
just
special
tell them they
meeting.
have to wait till January 10th, or,
Or have a special meeting, but I can't imagine.
It's gonna be
that.
tough in this time period, having a special meeting.
yeah.
I agree. Yeah, there's nothing gonna happen over the holidays.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would want to do something, but, yeah, so it was a little disappointing for me, because it doesn't make a lot of sense, but, you know, that's what lawyers do. We fight over stuff that maybe doesn't make a lot of sense. Because we're afraid that somebody will file a lawsuit or something that doesn't make a lot of sense.
And your handout,
Oh, I'm sorry. This is the survey that Commonwealth Edison provided. So if you notice, there's a shaded box to the left. That is the area of the easement. And you'll notice it's now 17 feet from,
Bigger.
17.17 feet from the sidewalk, I think.
gives a little more room.
So you have that extra 5 feet, but you're giving another 5 feet
Easement.
easement, but that's what you guys suggested, so that's what we had to do.
Let's move back 5 feet.
Well, but it doesn't make sense. Look
Right,
at
but
this.
they also have the 5, you're not, it's
Here's-
not that they would
there's
use the
Asbury.
back 5 feet.
So the
The box is the back
This is all you
5
want to pay
feet.
attention.
So they still have 5 feet in front of it for easement.
Right.
Well, because we thought maybe if some kid was on their bike or whatever.
Right.
Well, we pushed it back so the view was a little bit better.
Yeah.
for the right of way.
And you know, something we never discussed, what if a car ran off the road? I mean, that 5 feet could be huge.
Yeah.
And that could be where someone could sue us.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that we're probably okay, because you're gonna sue, you're indemnifying you for property damage, personal injury, bodily injury, death, and you also have insurance,
Oh, okay.
so,
So it's on the, we're gonna put it on the agenda in January,
okay,
right?
Yeah, but if we could get some kind of closure to that before, that'd be good.
yes.
All right, Lighter Park is next.
Okay, as you can see, there's two renderings right in front of you. The one on the floor is looking from the north into the park, and the one on the chair is the reverse angle looking from the south. So you can see the different sides and different play circuits for the kids. This is designed to stimulate imagination and give kids an upper body exercise. So you have a lot of ladders, bridges, things where they're going to have to use their arms. They're only climbing X amount of steps, but kids run everywhere where they go anyways. So it's more for upper body exercise. You see, we changed the overhang from the original was more of a roof. Now it's more of a tent or a sail. And then we have the spinner off to the east side. As you look at the bottom, that would be the east side of the play circuit. And this all came about in the meeting on November 28th. And the color scheme there is black with blue, blue metallic, I guess you call it. At any rate, this is what we came up with the 5 people at the meeting. And you should know that this play circuit, we have $90,000 budgeted. This play circuit, the equipment alone is $63,400. We have to get the old equipment removed, that's $2,800. Installation's an estimated $25,000. Wood chips, fall-safe surface is an estimated $3,000. Restoration, $1,500. You're at $96,000.
We're
So-
6,000 over.
What's that?
We're 6,000 over?
We're 6,000 over, but I have a solution for that. It's got nothing to do with ComEd. This is going to happen so late in the year, we'll finish it after July 1st
Oh, so we could get some
on
money for
paper.
next year.
We'll pay the 6,000 then.
Right.
So we'll put it in next year's budget.
Brian, what
And
about, was there anybody that brought up the fire engine at all, or was
Well,
it?
that fire engine's going to stay.
Oh, it's gonna
Yeah,
stay.
that's the middle circuit.
Right.
This is the far west.
Okay.
This is the corner back in the alley. So the fire engine is loved by a lot of people. It's staying.
The only one thing I would say about the color is, because that other equipment's gonna stay, we might wanna move more towards this forest green brown idea, just because I think it would mesh better with what's already there.
You got amens over here.
That'd be my only comment. I like this stuff, but then I think it's like a real departure from what's there.
Yeah.
So.
When do we have to make a decision on this?
Soon, like tonight, right?
Well, if you make a decision tonight, you say 3 to 5%, which is anywhere from $2,500 to $4,400. Because I'll order the equipment tomorrow.
What's 2,500? I don't get 2,500.
3% of $63,000 is $2,600.
Like above or below, is that what you're saying? Of
Yeah,
that?
it's the price increase for 2019 is going to be 3, 4, or 5%. They don't know,
Okay.
but it's going to be at least 3%. So,
What kind of a motion do you need?
Before motion, I mean, have we got any other estimates? Do we just have one vendor? I mean, we're spending $96,000. We just got one estimate. To me, I'm a little uncomfortable with that.
yeah.
I would like to know exactly what this situation is here, and you mentioned it's in Willard Park, the umbrella.
The overhang.
I'd like to see that
Yeah.
specifically. You know, how durable is that? How,
Have you been by Park School?
I've seen it just driving by. I've not gone in
Yeah.
there to really look at it.
Similar to that.
But you had suggested more so Willard.
Willard's got
I
similar.
haven't had a chance to get up there yet.
Yeah. Where else did you say?
Park School has that same kind of, it's really nice because it's wider than the other.
Park School looked a little different than this. It looked a little.
Well, that was like,
more of a-
they really shaded the entire
Yeah.
thing there. But the thing that I think is nicer about this is that you get a little more coverage with shade.
With
Where-
this.
With this versus the other, because the other was just a little roof on the play equipment.
Yeah.
So there's not many trees over there.
Right. Well,
Now, at the meeting that we had, the community meeting, we only had one parent come, of course, but we had the representative there, And my understanding is, Brian, is you're advocating for us to go ahead to save some money. You trust this company and you trust the product.
Right.
And speaking with our community member that did come to the meeting, thumbs up. She seemed like a park expert. This lady has been to every park in the area. She named all the parks, just like you were asking. She knew her business. She'd done her research. And she has kids that I think she homeschools, and that's why she goes to these parks. And
Yeah, she was
uses them.
great, actually.
And she was just thumbs up, enthusiastic about this. And I would just hate for us to lose the opportunity of saving that $3,000, you know?
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
She was saying that this climbing structure, she says one of the things that she looks at, and she goes to all these parks, she says she tries to find different structures at different parks, because it's like she's touring parks. And so she said there really isn't anything like this, you know, very near, except Willard. And then, you know, she was very excited about the merry-go-round, you know, the way these connected together. And, you know, frankly, it was nice to have someone there that had young kids, that really understood what they were doing.
The other thing about this company, Pat, is they've done the system, the complete system, all 3 areas of Brummel Park, and they give us great service. Their product's great. The playground that is in the middle of Leiter Park is New Toys, not Park Creation. Good company, but in my opinion, we don't get the service, number one, and number two, it's not as good as this stuff, in my opinion.
What's the shelf life?
And then there's other, oh God.
What's the shelf life?
It's gonna be 20-something years easy. Brummel's first circuit, I think, was 96. That's 22 years. First blue circuit.
And it was the same company?
Same company.
Okay.
To help us in our discussion, I do think it's helpful to have a motion in a second so that we know what we're talking about. So I am going to make the motion that we accept the forest green brownstone design for Leader Park as described by our executive and as described at our public meeting a few weeks ago.
Is there a second?
So you made a motion to accept the color scheme for this.
In the color of forest green brownstone.
And the equipment, right?
And equipment, yeah.
I think Pat poses a fair point in saying that I like the idea of having a apples to apples comparison on another company. I just think that's fair. You know, usually when you do something as big as this, the city does 3 bids and they go 1, 2, 3, and they pick the best one.
Yeah. They do the 3 bids on installation, they probably pick the equipment. Because people
That's
don't.
fair.
How many aldermen do we have? 9? I can't even remember.
9.
They don't know equipment, so it's not apples to apples.
Yeah, when we did
we
Brummel,
could get
we
new
had-
toys. I get new toys out there and say, match this to the best of your ability, and tell me what it's going to cost. We can do that.
Could you do that in 2 weeks?
I could do it by next board meeting.
Well, I'm just wondering about whether or not we get their 2018 prices.
Yeah, I mean, if we can't negotiate that, I'd be very surprised. I mean, you know, we're talking a month, less than 30 days. I mean,
I'll call
yeah,
it.
and the other thing I feel, you know, we just saw this basically. Debbie had not had a chance to see it. So I think, you know, there's a board member that has not seen this plan. And I think it's, you know, disrespectful that we would not at least give them the opportunity to look at it before we vote on it. So that's another aspect of my reticence to commit today.
Is it, just in the future, is it possible for us to get some of this stuff maybe by email and just get it early?
Sure.
So that we can look it over. I know Dan used to get a lot of reports, financial reports early, and because he can look over them. We don't always get a chance, you know, with getting them a day before, 2 days before the board.
Like a packet.
Yeah.
And these came out printed. Is there a way we could scan these and send them to Debbie?
Sure. She's in
out of the
Israel.
country right now, but, you know.
Well, I mean, you can get email anywhere.
And without a second, the motion dies, so it's mute.
Yeah, maybe check with the woman to see if,
With
by
who?
our, check to see by January 10th if we still could get that 2018 price.
Sure, and then,
And that's $3,000 off, right? I
Yeah.
think that's what.
well, it depends on 3, 4, 5%, but it will go up. But just so you know, as you look forward to your 2019, 2020 budget, the next budget, which you're going to start to get in May, there's going to be some money. There's going to be some wiggle room because Anna's wage isn't there, and it's a long story, but there's going to be a little wiggle room in that budget.
Yeah, but $3,000 is
It's a good-
$3,000,
right.
you know?
So, yeah.
We don't know, we might have something that comes up that's. we
So
need money for.
I'll ask Park Recreation for a 10-day extension until 2019.
Yeah.
And I'll get new toys out here as fast as possible.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you, Brian.
I think we have to wait till
Till the
citizen
end.
comments.
I was hoping I could add something, as though I had been at the community meeting about the equipment. I don't know if that's allowed. I can definitely wait until the end, but it's relevant to the equipment discussion, so if that's allowed.
Let's just keep with our protocol, and you can do it at the end of the meeting.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so, have we adopted the levy yet? No.
No, we got
We
that
do that
thing.
next.
What's that?
Does someone want to make a motion to
I
adopt
do.
the levy?
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the ordinance for levying taxes in the Ridgeville Park District, County of Cook, State of Illinois, for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2018, and ending June 30, 2019, as written, as we received in our board meeting tonight. Does the motion need to be any more specific?
No, it will be assigned.
Second.
We're going to have a roll call vote. We need a second, but we'll have a roll call vote.
Pat just seconded. All in favor? We
No,
need
we
a
need a
roll call.
roll call.
Roll call. Yeah, I
Okay.
think she's gonna do that.
Commissioner Meady?
Aye. Well,
Commissioner
yes.
Brown is absent. Commissioner Cook?
Aye.
Commissioner Coyne?
Aye?
And Commissioner McCourt?
Aye.
Okay, I have the ordinance which we can sign at the end. I
Okay.
have it right here.
She can notarize it, whatever else you need, and we're good to go tonight, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I'm ready.
Is this the first time you get to use your notary?
Oh, no, it's a busy woman. Busy notarizing woman.
Okay, the audit report we've done. The board meeting calendar. Can I just make the February 14th, I'd like to suggest that we do a different night for that. I'm gonna be gone, I know that.
Valentine's Day.
When is that? Say that again? I was
February 14th?
trying to grab it. Okay.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, so I was just saying, if we could do the 12th or the 13th, would that work, Brian?
Sure.
Yep.
What do we have what do we have on Wednesday, class-wise?
Oh, we have a
Look at my calendar.
We have a lot on Wednesdays.
Both
How about
floors?
Tuesday then?
What about Tuesday?
Yeah, I have a lot every night, so. Tuesdays are easier than Wednesdays to arrange.
That's the 12th.
So let's try for the 12th then. If that's okay with everybody?
I gotta change the calendar to the 12th?
Yeah.
Is that what we're gonna pass?
Would it maybe be feasible to go into the next week, to the 19th or 21st? What I'm thinking is if you pull back, you're so close to the beginning of the month that it might be difficult to get a lot of the reporting ready for the meeting.
Whatever works well.
If we go to the 21st, we're gonna get hit with late fees.
Hit with what?
Late fees on bills.
Oh,
Well, and that's a Thursday. 19th is a Tuesday.
We're gonna get hit with late
I can
fees.
do either the 19th or the 12th, it doesn't matter to
Because
me.
the latest we go normally is the 14th of the month. That's the latest we can go.
Well, if they're going to the 12th, because of the way the first of the month everything falls, you basically have about 3 business days to get bills, reports and stuff done before you're issuing the agenda and putting notice out, so.
Wait a minute. I'm off the 1st. I'm back to work on the 2nd. I don't know about you guys. Right?
No, we're talking about February.
Yeah.
We're in
Oh, February.
I don't know.
I'm fine with the 19th.
You've got the 4th through the 8th to prepare the bills. The 1st is on a Friday.
Right.
But if the meeting's the 12th, we still have.
Is the 11th a possibility? Are Monday nights good or bad?
Mondays are bad. I can't do Monday.
They're bad, okay.
I have a conflict on the 19th.
Let's do the 12th. I think we
It'll
can
be just-
pull it together by then.
Can all 4 of us do the 12th? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I move to accept the 2019 annual calendar board meeting dates as written but revised in February for February 12. So January 10th, February 12, March 14, April 11, May 9, June 13, July 11, August 8,
Can I
September
have
12,
your calendar?
October 10, November 14, and December 12. All meetings beginning at 7:30 p.m. in the community house at 908 Seward.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Now, the year-end stipends, what do you suggest, Brian?
I would prefer to do this in executive session, if that's possible. I think that's the way we've done it in the past, and it's talking money.
Okay, cool. Does anybody want to have any call of the commissioners then?
Well, just a point of order, can we have an executive session? that's
Yeah, it's
on
not
the
posted.
agenda?
Yeah.
It's on
I don't
the-
know.
It's on the agenda. I mean, it belongs in executive session.
Yeah, I think you can, but I'm not 100% sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think you can. I mean, when the matter comes up, it's employee compensation, I think you can do that.
Okay.
Okay, we all agree?
Yep.
Okay, anybody else have anything else they want to
Call
talk
the
about?
commissioners?
Mhm.
Yeah. You guys?
Go ahead.
Just very exciting. We got, I know for a fact that at least 3 candidates have put in their paperwork officially and publicly to be candidates on the next Ridgeville Park District election. It'll be held on April 2, 2019. For those who might be listening in Facebook land, there's 3 seats that will be open. Both Commissioner Beatty and I, Commissioner Coyne, have come to the end of our 6-year terms. So, and Commissioner Cabot has decided that her 2 terms was a good service, and 12 years was well spent, and she's not interested in a 3rd year. So, my understanding is that Commissioner Rob Beatty, Commissioner Dan Coyne, and a community member by the name of Matt Mitchell have submitted their interest in being on the ballot in 2019. And rumor has it that Martha Gaines, who's in the audience, is also planning to, or actually is collecting signatures now, but hasn't quite submitted that in yet. And I believe the applications for those are due over the week. Natalie, you might know when the last day is for people to submit paperwork if they're interested.
Monday, the 17th, before 5 p.m.
So I think that's cool with democracy and all that we've got people interested.
And are all 3 of them, are they all 6-year terms, or are they, is there one 4-year term?
They're all 6-year
They're all
terms.
6-year terms.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so we now can do citizen comments. Martha?
Oh, okay, so, I was just going to comment, I have an almost 5-year-old daughter, so I'm in parks a lot, that in terms of color schemes, you don't want to just consider the visual effect of color, you want to consider how much it absorbs heat. And luckily this is plastic equipment, so you don't have any metal slides to worry about. I know of a girl who actually got 2nd or maybe even 3rd degree burns from the new Penny Park slide. And when they put that back together, I'm not quite sure if the slide was from the previous design or if that was new, but it was kind of shocking that like a recent park redesign, you know, included a metal slide that caused burns, because if it's a metal slide and there isn't adequate shade, it gets very hot. So at least with plastic, it isn't as much of an issue, but just I would consider more the visual, like the, utility of the park in terms of how people use it and how that color difference might affect them. If the blue and the brown and the green are all more or less the same darkness, then there's probably no difference. But I don't have the colors in front of me, so I just thought that was worth mentioning in general and for this park in particular. And then I just want to say about the sails, they are so cool when they provide real shade, but a lot of the time I'm seeing them and it seems like nobody really thought about time of day and where the sun is relative to the sails and stuff like that. So just two things about that. One, you do want to have it in a position where it provides shade, otherwise it's kind of pointless. And then two, if you deem it not necessary, let's say there's enough trees around there or whatever, or where the sails go, let's say the park equipment runs in a certain direction relative to this arc of the sun, then you might not be getting much shade out of it. And if it's an element you could remove from the design because it's not effective, you might save some money. So I just thought I would put that out there, because if it's not going to do what it's supposed to do, you might not even use it. So.
It actually will, that's a good point, because the play circuit's going to run east and west,
Right.
lengthwise. And in the summer, the sun's right overhead. So at that end, it's going to cover 2 areas, and there's only 3 stations.
Yeah.
It's going to cover 2 of the 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's kind of a math problem that I'm not fully equipped to do. I don't know if any of you are to, calculate the angles of the sun, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes when it's, obviously the sun's right overhead, the shade is going straight down. If it's coming at an angle, it's casting its shadow in a particular direction. And sometimes it's like completely off from where the equipment is. I've just seen that at parks where they have the sails, so.
Yeah, it's a good point. Thank
Yeah.
you for mentioning
Yeah,
that.
sure.
Are they, can you sit on that? I mean, can somebody get on top of that and sit on it?
I don't know, I got to find that out. It's a good question.
They're pretty high compared to the rest of the,
But I'm not thinking the height, I'm thinking more the durability of it. It isn't like a canvas, it's a plastic? It's a plastic. So
It's more of a
somebody could sit
plastic.
on it and it wouldn't like go through.
I don't know if it's going to hold how much weight.
I
You gotta find
definitely want to see what that looks like, if it's at
maybe
Willard.
Willard. Try to go by Willard. Yeah. All right, okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So, and go into executive session.
No, go into executive session.
Okay, all in favor? All right, thanks for coming, Martha.